What's up, everybody? It's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and I want to build a giant mechanical scorpion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this piece of CD, and I'm going to rough this up. I don't have any tools out, so hold on. I just have a bunch of garbage I was looking at, trying to think of what I want to make. Most of the things I'm going to be using are things that are easily accessible or you can find something comparable to. I try to do that intentionally, even if I have other ideas of what I want to work on. This is a little different because I had this Transformer shark head that my kids donated as part of a broken Transformer pile they gave me. Because, you know, they got Transformers when they were like 4 and 5, and then now they're 8 and 9, and their Transformers are all busted up from years of transforming, and some of the Transformers now are really hard to transform, so they would get broken in the process. I know I've even broken a couple trying to help them transform them, but they're not like when I was a kid many years ago. So I've roughed this up pretty good. I need to get a piece of cardstock to put over this. I have this thick cardboard here. This might work. All right, this is a little thicker than what I wanted, but it'll work, and we'll use that for our base. So I'm just going to get some snot glue. Make myself a sturdy looking base, just like that. Okay, then I'm going to try to cut around that. You are not alone. That's right. I'm there for you. Though you're far away. Michael Jackson action for y'all. Booyah. Alright, mother lickers. Pretty good. Not perfect. Close enough for government work. There's my base. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm going to cut a little bit of stuff to give it some interest. So it looks like panels. I'm going to add some other garbage and stuff on here too. If I can find some cardstock, which I can. So I'm going to get my scissors. I am there for you, though you're far away. Why is that song stuck in my head? Damn me. I'm just making some little panels to glue on here to break up my terrain and make it a little more interesting. I just burned the shit out of myself. That's okay. Oh! And I threw my hot glue gun on the ground. I dropped that about once or twice a video. Not a big deal. Alright, so the first thing we need is our body. So I have a toilet paper roll, and I'm going to try to find a way to attach this in such a way that it's going to work out. So what I want is my thing to look kind of neat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that in there just so. I'm going to get a little bit of glue, smooth it out around the edge, do the same thing on this side. I'm going to work that around in there and kind of get glue smeared. And then I'm going to drag it out to the edge where I want it to sit, just like that. And I'll let that dry for a moment. Okay. It's down a little bit further than I wanted. All right, let's hope that stays and dries how I want it to. Pretty sturdy. All right, let's get a piece of cardstock and shore up that hole. Will that fit? Oh man, that's really close. Okay, so we want to bend this forward a little bit. And right about there, we want to bend it back a little bit. Okay, so we're going to get some glue here. Get that inside there, like that. And we're going to get some glue in this strip here. Put that back and shore up that hole. Okay, just like that. Now we still have some gaps here we're going to have to fill out. I think that'll be a little easier to do. Got spider web all over me. Okay, so to shore those up a little bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some strips. I'm going to rough those up a little bit, smush them a little bit so they kind of bend and form nicely and easily, and they're not real rigid. Okay. Then I'm just going to kind of mush them down how I want them to sit. Like that. And I want this to kind of overlap a little bit, just like that. But that's not, necessary. That's just kind of what I want to do. You don't need to worry about, doing it the way I want to do it. Do your thing, yo. Okay. Something like that. Then, do I have any more cardstock? I can't believe it. I need a long piece of cardstock. This is from a Jumbo Shells box that became whatever my last craft was. Let's get a straight edge. I'm not measuring, I'm eyeballing. To me, whenever people do a bunch of measurements and have templates and stuff, that's not the way I craft. So when I see any videos of people doing anything like that, I'm definitely not going to make that. That's just the way that happens to turn out for me. I know we're all different. We all have our own things. So now I want to make a band around here like this. So to get that started, I'm going to curve this so it's easy to work with. And I'm going to start with a good layer of glue. I'm going to set this down where I want it and pull it taut and let that tighten up and let that sit for a moment. Then I'm going to come underneath here and kind of figure out where my joint's going to be, and I'm just eyeballing things and cutting them as I need to, just like that. So we'll get that tiny bit of glue. It goes a long way. There we go. And we want that to meet up here, so I'm just going to cut that to where it closes nicely. Get a little bit of glue, just like that. Okay, perfect. This is going to work out nicely, I'm thinking. Now I have this piece that I took out of that super piece that I had, of like super paper towel roll, and I thought this would be a good mounting thing for the butt. So what I want to do is I want to snip off these little barbs that make it hard to fit in there, and see if I can just kind of get it, shove it in. And if I can't, I can't. But if I could, that'd be ideal. Maybe it'll go now. It'll be snug, but it'll go. So that'll be a good mounting spot for the tail. Something like that. And then I was thinking about using this golf ball, but I don't know if I'm going to use that now. Super glue bottle might be the way to go there. Let's try it. I have a bunch of super glue bottle pieces because I save them. It's pretty good. Oop. Use my fat belly to bounce that back so it didn't fly off the table. Good job, me. It's probably way more glue than was needed for something like that, but it's okay. Okay. His legs. I haven't figured out what I'm doing for his legs. Let me think for a moment here. Would it be cool if they were tracks? What do you guys think? Can we do tracks for his legs? Let me get some paper, popsicle sticks. And this is some really thin foam that we might be able to use for this too. I don't know. So here's some tracks. If we're going to build tracks, we need popsicle sticks because it makes it super easy to deal with. So what I would do, I'm thinking, this is just an idea, is I would get some beads that are medium size, like this. maybe. Whoop. I mean, there's a million ways you can make tracks, I suppose. But this is the way I'm making tracks. So we'll see how that looks. Just like that. And we'll let that cool for a minute. And we'll make another one. Did I only get 2 popsicle sticks? No, I got 4. Get 2 more beads about that size. I think these are the same size, just different color. We're going to put that there. And that there. We're going to mount those beads on there. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. And I'm going to put that on there like that. Sweet. Now I have a strong frame for my tracks. I need something really long to cut to wrap around there. I don't know if this is long enough. Yes, it is. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to use this foam. It's kind of thin, though. Let me see if I have a cereal box. I need a cereal box. Honeycombs box for me. Alright. I had to recruit help because I did not have a cereal box handy. My son is going to get me the honeycombs box and leave the bag up there. I'm missing one of these. I made 2. I know I did. And 1 is gone. How did I lose it? No, there it is. Alright, so we'll come back to the tracks in a minute. But that's essentially the size of the tracks that he's going to be sitting on. Something like that. Well, we can build the mounting bracket in the middle for sure. Alright, so the easiest thing to probably do... Do I have any little wooden blocks available? Wooden blocks. I'm going to mount 2 Jenga blocks and see how that spacing is going to look. Jenga blocks are square and nice and easy to get a hold of because they're the Dollar Tree. And even though the spacing is a little bigger than I wanted, I think it'll work out. So what I'm going to do... I'm going to get 2 spots like that, push my Jenga blocks into place like that. There we go. Thank you. Yep. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Just like that. And I want them to be kind of evenly spaced. And this is going to be the basis for my track support. I'm going to build the tracks before I finish the scorpion body because it'll be a lot easier, I think. Plus, I might want to raise that up a little bit off the tracks. I haven't decided yet. So we'll set this... Oh, no, I have a cereal box now. Get a knife. We'll resource down this box. And we'll do some long skinny cuts to make our pieces we need. We're going to estimate how big those tracks are around. We're just going to do a rough guess. They're about yay big. We're going to make 2 of those. Okay. We're going to start at the top. So we're going to curl these so they kind of lock how we want them to. And we're going to start on the edge here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a glue around the edge and get this piece on there kind of started and in place. Okay. Let that dry. And we're going to do the same thing around the side here. Just like that. Okay. Then we're going to come all the way back around to this side again. We're going to tighten that up. That's not sticking down the way I want it to. Ah, that burns. Of course it burns. Why wouldn't it burn? So, now these are kind of loose, and I didn't want them to be. So the easy fix to that's going to be to put some glue inside here. Glue those down. Okay. That didn't work at all. Okay, let's get a little bit of glue on this edge. Just a little bit. We don't want to kill ourselves and burn ourselves, as I do. Okay. And we'll let that cool. Oh, it's coming up. It's not staying. Is this still going to fit on our base? Yeah, it'll fit on our base. Okay. That's what really matters, is that it fits on our base. Now we learned a little bit from the first go around here, so we're going to be able to do a lot better job on this time. Making sure we get a good bond, as opposed to our last one, which was a weak bond. Then we need to get up on there. Okay, we've got to touch up this inside part, just like that. Okay, and we want to throw this bad boy on our base. To do that, I'm just putting some glue on it. Okay, let's hold that down. It's looking pretty good. It's going to do its job. Now we need to pimp these a little bit. So what I would suggest is that you make your life easy. You cut some vaguely thin, long pieces. They don't have to be even. And check this out. This is all I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a little dab of glue, and I'm going to stick that down. Then I'm going to come back and cut these off. And I'm going to do them every so often, so it vaguely looks like a tread. I'm not sure how well we're going to see this part in the final construction, so I don't want to spend an enormous amount of effort trying to make it look perfect. once we get one side done, we can cut off the excess lengths and use those for the other side too. Cut a few more of those. You could really get fancy if you wanted to. You could take like a thicker cardboard like I used for the base. And you could make some thicker treads and put them in between if you wanted. I don't think I'm going to do that, but you could. You could really put some little studs in the middle too, maybe. That'd look cool. Maybe that would look cool. Maybe it look dumb. Who knows? I haven't tried it. There's one final touch on these beads, on these treads we're going to need, though, to really sell them from the sides. Okay. So from something like that, we'll let those cool. Then we're going to snip all those off to the edge like this. We're going to repeat that on the other side. Now that we know what we're doing, it should be relatively easy. Since we have proof of concept in place. I suppose you could make any kind of track like creature or vehicle like this with the same idea that I'm using. I don't like to do things the same way too many times, because it starts to look repetitive on your game board. Unless you were building like an army of bots that were all on like some kind of same alignment scale, like they were all, you know, made by the same people. Maybe they were in a faction of some sort. That would be different, I suppose. I'm a lover, not a fighter, or maybe a backbiter. I sure like apple cider in the rain. I'm a dancer, not a villain, though I don't mind some killing in the rain, in the rain. Oh, I'm here to be your friend, but I'm not here to pretend that I am doing okay. You could be a lot more careful with this. You could probably use PBA and get a good result as opposed to using excessive amounts of snot glue like I'm doing. But the most important thing is that you enjoy it and that you find a little bit of fun in it. Let me get another piece here. Oh no, it's burning me. Okay. Let's let that cool for a minute. Now it looks like that. Now we want to mount our body. So to mount our body, I'm just going to use dibby dab of glue, yabba dabba doo. I'm going to mount my body. Kind of in the middle there. I'm going to roll that around, make sure I get a good bond. Now my body's a little boring, so what we want to do is we want to pimp that body out. So to pimp that body out, I'm just going to use cardstock and random shapes. And so that they sit nicely, I'm just going to bend them a little bit first. kind of place them on. This probably would have been easier to do prior to construction, if we're going to be honest. But I did not do that, so we're just going to live with it the way it is. It's like that tattoo song. I say that tattoo song, and some of you act like you don't know, but you all know. They only had one song that anybody knew about that I'm aware of. So that's a little bit big for what I wanted. Snip that off. Get that all seated on there nicely in such a way that it'll be useful to me. Need more hot glue. Center it the best I can. Like that. Now, scorpions have, I think, like 8 legs and 2 pinchers, so it's like 10 total. But I'm not going to be doing that. So what I'm going to do is look for some big-ass beads, because I know I got some big-ass beads. Oh, here's some big beads. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a skewer to get started here. I think. No, maybe later on. I have this straw that has sections, right? And you would think it's bendy, but it doesn't seem to be as bendy as I want. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to heat it up a little bit. And try to get it into a shape that I like. I'm going to kind of hope it cools that way some and keep some of that shape. It might or might not. I don't know. I don't know. All right, scrap it. We're going to go back to playing Zelda. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, piece by piece, make and break a tail. So I'm starting by getting it inside this into this bead, and gluing it in place, letting it fully cure. Then I'm going to get another bead of a different size or a different shape, and I'm just going to get these on here and make a tail. That's plan A. So my first 2 are going to be seated against each other firmly, and then I'm going to snap my tail at an angle a little bit, like that, and then keep putting beads down. And I'm going to use different beads of different sizes, like I said. So, just like that. I'm going to snap my next one. I might just do them in groups of 2. I don't know yet. I might do them in solos. I might do them in groups of 2. I'm going to switch to a smaller kind of bead. Get my tail in place. Keep snapping. Okay. Make sure I can see how it's going to fit, because it's important that it kind of bends around, you know. Something like that. These have all been drilled with different levels of craftsmanship. You could probably guess where they were manufactured. In a factory. That's right. If you were going to say something super judgmental, I set you up. You fell for it. Go sit in the corner. Nowhere far away, I am here to stay. Poo, 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 poo. See, we're trying to work our way around there and get it to where it's long enough to be a threat in combat. That's the real thing, is it has to be a threat in combat. I'm going to try to speed this up by doing 2 at a time. Okay, and so 1, spinny, spinny. 2, spinny, spinny. And that's just, the spins are just giving it more and more area to be manipulated and moved around. I'm going to switch to a bit smaller of a bead. Oops. Okay. Spinny, spinny. Spinny, spinny. The reason I'm spinning those is I'm trying to give them a little bit more of a bonded contact area is what I'm going for there with that. Okay. I'd like to add something in here that doesn't make sense at this point. So what I'm going to do is get one of these because this is a robot. All right, I need a smaller bead to put in there to hold that, so let's get this tiny little bead. Spinny, spinny, good bond. Our piece. Okay, and then we'll put some more beads. Some of these smaller ones, maybe. Hold on, let's continue to snap this a little bit. There we go. Okay, it's starting to look like it might be long enough to be a threat. Let's be real careful about the size of beads we put on at this point. I'm going to put these away and grab out some plastic beads that are real tiny. Everyone's seeing these. They sell them everywhere. They should be good for something like this, I'm guessing. And we lost one. It's okay. Spinny, spinny. All right. Spinny, spinny. And then for a tail, I was thinking we could use this from a, what's this from? A wood glue thing. Let me get a snipper out. Try to get a nice cut on the end of this so it's flush. Pretty good. And let's see if we can push that in there. Hold on. Okay, that didn't do what I wanted it to. All right, no problem. What we're going to do is we're going to stick a piece of, a new piece of skewer through there. Like that. We're just going to cut off the excess. We're going to put a dab of glue in here. I'm going to force this in. Then we're going to put a little glue in from the top. Let that get in place. Just like that. So it's good and sturdy, and we're going to shove this in here and hope that it sticks the way we want it to. All right, then the tail's pretty heavy at this point. So mounting the tail with just a little bit of hot glue is probably not going to be enough, if I had to guess. So we need some kind of, I don't know, some kind of O-ring or something to give it some support, or we need to pin it. But I'm super lazy. Super lazy. So instead of doing the right thing, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to manufacture my own O-ring. Okay. Still fit over there? Okay. So I'm going to hold this in place, let this bond, and I'm going to use this for a crappy metal O-ring piece. Put glue in here all around it, just like that. I'm going to slide it on there and force it into place. Then I'm going to twist it, getting the strongest bond possible. And we'll let that cool. And I'm worried about that coming apart or not being sturdy. So I'm going to come over here around the outside and just put a little bit of oil. Just like that. Okay. Then now, in theory, when I mount my tail, it'll have a lot more surface area to bond to, and it'll be sturdier. So I'm going to shove my tail in there like that, angle it up. What do you think? Looks decent. All right, arms. All the legs we can ignore because he has tracks, but we need arms. So we need to mount those arms on him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut glue bottles like this. And mount them. So let's get that smashed up, and I'm going to have them angled up just a little bit. Like that, and like that. Man, I'm not getting, is that one not empty of glue? Still has super glue in it, so it's not bonding. Look at that. Super glue. Get you every time. All right, let's get rid of that one. And now I got super glue all over my hands. Of course I do. All right, let's try it again. This one looks pretty empty. Let's hope it is. Okay. Get it to cool and dry in place. And do I have an open super glue somewhere? Oh, that's what I did. I cut up my open super glue up. Now I have it all over my hand. All right, no problem. Let's get some real super glue here now and sturdy this up. Get it in the joints. Get it in the tail, all the way down the tail. I'm going to get a piece of cardstock and kind of rub that around like that. Okay. Just kind of push it around and make some more surface area of contact. Then we're going to get some baking soda. We're going to sturdy all this up. Just like that. Okay. I'll put the good glue up there. So we have the mounts for the arms. We need them to come forward. So what I was thinking is I have a bunch of cool pieces that we can use. I'm going to use these plastic forks to make the actual grabbers, at least one of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my snippers. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. Then I'm going to get a glue bottle, which this one looks like it would be a good candidate because I've taken the top out of it. And I'm going to glue those in. Okay. That's going to be one of my grabbers. And I want the other grabber to be kind of bigger and scarier. So I'm not really sure how I can do that. I was thinking about making it like a scooper from a backhoe. So let's see if I can create that. We'll fold this in half so we can get two symmetrical pieces to build our scooper. So we have our two symmetrical pieces. Okay, so we want to get a dab of glue here. And we're going to need to sturdy this up somehow, which I don't know how that's going to be just yet. So we're going to get that piece sat in there. It can be recessed a little bit or it can be sticking out a little bit. I think recess is going to give you a stronger bond for sure. And we're going to let that cool in place. Okay, just like that. Now, we want to reinforce this a little bit on the inside. with a tiny bit of glue and shove it into that corner, and then we're going to set that off to the side while we figure out how we're going to do this joint on the arm. So beads is probably the way to go for that. So I'm going to get a smaller bead than how I started the tail. I'm going to take a glue bottle. I'm going to shove it into my bead like that is my plan. I'm going to make 2 of those. Get another bead. About that size if I have it. Perfect. Now make another one of these glue bottle pieces. Okay, we'll leave those to dry. Now where did I put my, oh, there it is. Now we have this is curled, pre-curled. We need this to slowly bond. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this into place. And get a small bead of glue along that. And let that start to cool. Okay, just like that, and just kind of rub your glue stick in there to get it where you need it to stay. Do 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 boom. I don't know how good a bond that's going to make. Okay, now we're going to do this side the same way. It's only burning a little bit, it's alright. Like I said, we want to recess it to the inside a little bit. We'll let that cool. Then I'll smooth out the inside like I did the other side. Yeah, this is going to work out pretty good, I'm thinking. Okay, I'm going to snip this excess off here and here. I'm going to sturdy this up using some of that excess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece. I'm going to bend it in half, just like that. I'm going to throw some glue in there. I'm going to make like an anchor piece that holds that. I'm going to make a couple of those just to sturdy that up. They don't have to be perfect by any means. Okay. I don't know why I did it that way. It's way better to do it where you put them on the paper first, the cardstock first. Okay. And I just don't want these to come apart is what I'm trying to prevent. See, I got some sticking up pieces here, and those can just be snipped off. Just like that, no problem. Okay, a couple more of those would probably help. I'm going to make them smaller. Okay. Just like that. Boop, 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 boop. Now, buckets aren't smooth on the edge. There's usually like a reinforced piece of steel that runs right here, and then there's usually teeth on that too. I've seen different kinds, but there's usually teeth. So we want this to look kind of like what it's supposed to look like, I guess. So let's fold this in half. Just like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut a little halfway through it kind of deal. So it kind of opens up a little bit when I'm folding it. There we go. Then we're going to make it fit in there. And it should, in theory, kind of fit in there. Nice. Okay, a little bit of glue. A little bit of glue ski. Okay. Hold that in place. A little bit of glue ski. We'll hold that in place. Okay, this is already sturdier than it was by far. Yeah, it's pretty sturdy. It's not going to pop open or anything, I don't think. All right, let's make our teeth. So to make our teeth, we're going to make a thin piece like this. We're going to fold it in half the best we can, just like that. Open it up. And we're just going to, if you burn yourself a little bit, like I'm using a high temp gun, you're going to survive. It hurts for a few minutes. If it's real bad, it hurts for a day, but it doesn't kill you. If you're a child, get an adult to help you with this. I'm not making kids videos, and I've said that to YouTube, but YouTube doesn't seem to understand that. And we'll make one more for the middle. Try to fold that in half the best we can. I think I cut that cardboard the wrong way. This might be a shorter tooth. Be all right. Whoop, I'm losing it. Oh, crap in a bucket. Okay, there we go. So there is that piece. We need to mount this back. We need to make it a little sturdier before we mount it to anything. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to fold this in half. We're going to sturdy it up the same way we sturdy up the other shit. I'm going to slit a little line down the middle so it opens up a little easier. Not cutting all the way through. Just cutting that glossy part. Okay. Sturdy that up a little bit. And we have to make our arms attached to these, so I need something to hook it on that arm so it looks good. Let's get a bead. Bead will be a good thing for this. So I want to mount this bead here. Okay. Just like that. And then I want to get this thing mounted, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet because this is a little bigger than I had planned on. Let's get this on the arm first and see. Okay, so let's get this on here. This is going to be a rough surface that doesn't want to hold glue well. So I'm going to heat it and scratch it. Because what I'm hoping is that I can get that to kind of push in a little bit. There we go. Let's get a good twist, get a good connection. And then we're going to let it cool for a minute. And since that plastic's super hot, it's going to take a second to cool. I need a cold air gun too. Sorry, I'm trying to speed it up. I know that sounds stupid, but that's what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to mount that on there. There we go. Get a good joint, get it good and curved in. Okay, a little bit of glue ski, just like that. Let it cool in place. Feels like it's never going to cool in place or otherwise. Baking soda. Sorry, I'm getting impatient. I think we're close to an hour already. Alright, that's not ideal. You probably don't want to do it that way. I'm not saying that's a good way to do it, but that's how I did it. Alright, now we're going to burn a hole in this side and do the same thing. When I say burn a hole, what I really mean is make a push in the plastic so it curves in, so you get a good bond, a good connection point. Okay, push that in. Look at that. That's a good connection point there, dudes. This is the empty one. This is the full one. Let's try again, get a good bond. Angle it up. A bit of soda for backing. Make it a permanent home. Then we need to get this bad boy on there. I'd like to pimp this a little bit. By pimp it, I just mean sturdy it up. I talk like an idiot. I hope you can forgive me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get some glue here. Pull this tight like that. Just like that. Then I'd like to make a rim around there to hold that in place so it looks sturdy. Notice I said look sturdy. Snip off my excess. Get a little bit of glue in there. Pull that tight. Hold that until it solidifies. Just like that. Snip off. Nope, I'm not going to snip off. I'm going to use that as my mounting. Okay, cool. So I'm going to get a little bit of glue here. Whoops. A little bit of glue here. Whoops. Big old mess. Some glue there. And I'm going to mount this haphazardly like that. Twisting it how I want it to sit. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Then I'm going to wrap a band around. Give it a little bit of a natural curve. Curving that around and locking it in place. My thumb is stuck there forever now. Okay, cool. All right. This is kind of what I wanted him to look like. Surprisingly, it turned out similar to what my plan was. But we went way over the time I had allotted to do this with, but that's okay. That's all right. It's worth it. Let's look for spider webs. There are spider webs all over this guy. Especially down on these tracks. Okay. I am going to have to paint him off camera, base coat him off camera. I'm going to be hitting him with a black primer. Then I'm going to be hitting him with a red primer. And then I'm going to be using a metallic finish from a distance. But I think he's going to look good. If you need a mini for scale, I have this guy here I always use, Damiel, the Elven Alchemist. So that's kind of what you're dealing with there when this guy pops out of the ground or however it approaches you in combat. So my name is Doom. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, and all that happy crappy that helps the channel grow. I'm going to come through here and I'm just going to get some super glue in some spots that I think it could use it. Just to solidify joints and stuff. You do however you need to do to make yours feel sturdy for you. And that's fine. Do you. Don't do me. Thanks for watching. I don't remember what I said. Did I tell you guys to make the channel grow? Please make the channel grow. It makes me feel good about myself. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.